There is a Japanese word for the belly, hara. And it does not mean what you think. It doesn't mean the surface, not the pinch you take between your fingers in front of the mirror, not the number on the tape measure. Hara means the center, the seat of warmth, of instinct, of quiet. In Japan, the belly is not the enemy. It is the room where the whole body lives. And whilst most of the West spends years attacking the belly, sit-ups, crash diets, fasting apps, another new plan on Monday. Japanese women 50 and beyond do something quietly different. They warm it. They feed it carefully. They rest it early, which might explain why, at 58, the average Japanese woman carries markedly less visceral belly fat than her British counterpart of the same age, same body mass index, same menopause, without ever stepping into a gym, not genetics, not miracle food, rhythm. Meanwhile, in a bedroom in Manchester, in Leeds, in Bristol, you fasten your trousers and hold your breath. There is a drawer with the clothes that used to fit, a skirt from a Christmas 2 years ago, and 6 months of doing everything the guide said, walking more, eating less, cutting the wine on weeknights, and the belly is exactly where you left it. By the end of this video, I'll show you the 8 small habits, most take under 2 minutes, that quietly do what all the discipline never could. And the 8th one is the one no British guide will ever tell you. Here's what almost no British guide will tell you about the menopause belly. The real problem isn't calories. The real problem is that 3 hormones have quietly changed roles inside you, and nobody explained. Imagine estrogen as the conductor of your metabolism. For 30 years, she stood at the front of the orchestra and told every organ where to send the fat. Hips, thighs, the soft curves that Renaissance painters knew by heart. Then, at the menopause, the conductor leaves. She doesn't leave on holiday. She leaves the orchestra. And a new conductor walks in. Her name is cortisol, and she has only one instruction for every organ every day. Store where? Around the middle. Not soft fat, visceral fat, the hormone-controlled kind, wrapped around your organs, quietly changing how the body reads every meal. A study published in the journal Menopause found that visceral fat rises sharply in women during the first years after the menopause, independent of what they eat. Now add the third character, insulin. Think of her as the gatekeeper of your fat cells. Before the menopause, she opened the door when you needed energy and closed it when you didn't. After the menopause, she stops opening. Every meal spike goes in. Nothing comes out. The British Menopause Society describes this exact combination: falling estrogen, rising cortisol, insulin resistance, as a metabolic signature of midlife weight change in women. 3 hormones, 1 direction, storage, and here is what makes it so quietly cruel. The harder you fight it with a Western toolkit, the crash diet, the fasting app, the punishing spin class, the more cortisol you make. And the more cortisol you make, the more the belly holds on. I know this feeling exactly, the sense that your own body has stopped listening, that the harder you try, the further you go from the woman you used to be. But here is what almost no British guide will tell you. There is one country where women 50 and beyond never have this fight. And it isn't because they eat less. It's because they never provoke the pattern in the first place. And listen, if this finally explains why your belly hasn't shifted despite 2 years of doing everything right, subscribe to this channel. It's the best way to help us reach more women who are still fighting their own hormones without knowing why. Now, let me show you the mistake almost every one of us has been making. The mistake isn't what you eat. The mistake is when, and how much, and in what order, and what your body does in the 8 hours after you eat. You have been treating your belly fat as a discipline problem, but your belly fat is a rhythm problem. And that difference changes everything. Let me explain. Take the fasting app. The 16 to 8 protocol. Everyone's daughter is doing it. Every magazine is recommending it. And for a woman in her 30s, it can work. For you, at 55, it raises cortisol. Dr. Louise Newson, one of the UK's leading menopause specialists, has been clear on this for years. Aggressive fasting in the menopausal body can push cortisol in exactly the wrong direction, and cortisol is the hormone driving your belly fat. You didn't fail the fast failed you. Take the late dinner, 8, 9, 10 o'clock, plate on your lap in front of the television. Your liver was preparing for the night shift, the quiet cleanup hours between dinner and sleep, and now, at 9, at night, you have handed her a full delivery. Take the green tea before food. Every wellness column tells you to drink it first thing in the morning. But for a woman 50 plus, often already low in iron, often already low in energy, green tea before food blocks iron absorption. The wrong timing turns a helpful cup into a quiet drain. Let me repeat. Your belly fat is not asking you to eat less. It is asking you to change the shape of your day. It's perfectly normal after 50 for your body to store fat differently. Normal, but not inevitable. And that is where Japan quietly rewrites the whole story, because Japanese women don't fight their belly. They live in a rhythm that never asks it to hold on to fat in the first place. 8 habits. Most take under 2 minutes. Let's begin. Step 1. Miso soup. First, have you ever noticed that Japanese meals rarely begin with the main course? The soup comes first, the warm, cloudy bowl of fermented broth. And you probably thought it was a small starter, something to fill in. Most guides assume miso is simply a warm liquid before the food. But here is what really happens in your body. When you drink miso soup before your main meal, 3 things happen quietly. The warmth signals to your stomach to slow down. You eat less of what comes after without counting. The fermented soy delivers a small dose of isoflavones, plant compounds that gently support the falling estrogen your body is missing. And the low glycemic broth softens the insulin spike of everything you are about to eat. Research reported in the Menopause Journal has linked regular soy isoflavone intake with lower abdominal fat in postmenopausal women. You don't start the meal, your soup does. Step 2. Small ceramic bowls, never large plates. Have you looked at a Japanese table and wondered why the dishes seem so small? Not one large plate, many small bowls, tiny cups, delicate portions on each, and you probably thought it was aesthetic, elegant, traditional. Most British guides tell you to control portions with willpower. Weigh your food, log your calories, fight your appetite meal by meal. Now it gets interesting. Portion size is not decided by discipline. Portion size is decided by the vessel it lives in. Give the same person a large plate and a small plate. Same food available, and they will consistently eat more from the large one, without noticing, without hunger. Cornell food behavior research established this pattern decades ago. Plate and bowl size directly shape how much we serve ourselves and how much we consume. Buy 1 small ceramic bowl this week. Keep it beside your kettle. Use it for breakfast. Use it for supper. And let the bowl do the work your willpower shouldn't have to. Change the ceramic. Change the calorie. Step 3. Hara Hachi Bu. The 80% rule. Have you ever finished a meal, sat back and thought, I didn't need that last bit? Most of us were raised to clean the plate, not to waste, not to leave anything behind. And so we eat past the moment our body signaled to stop. Here's what most women 50 plus never discover. In the Okinawan Islands, home to some of the longest living women on Earth, there is a small phrase spoken quietly at every meal. Hara Hachi Bu. Eat until you are 8 parts full. Stop before you are 10. Your stomach sends the I've had enough signal roughly 20 minutes after the food actually enters it. If you eat slowly, you catch the signal. If you eat quickly, you eat past it, often by hundreds of calories every single meal. The Okinawa centenarian study, led for decades by Dr. Bradley Wilcox, has identified this simple habit as one of the strongest daily predictors of a lean midsection into the 9th decade. 8 parts full, 2 parts free. Step 4. Green tea. After your food, not before. Every wellness column tells British women 50 plus the same thing. Drink green tea first thing in the morning, empty stomach, kickstart your metabolism, and this, for you, at 50 plus, is quietly wrong. Here begins what changes everything. Green tea before food, on an empty stomach, can block iron absorption. Women 50 plus are already often iron depleted from decades of monthly loss. You do not need another quiet drain first thing in the morning. But green tea after food is another matter entirely. The catechins, especially EGCG, help regulate the glucose spike from the meal you have just eaten. Research from Kyoto University has documented for years the relationship between regular green tea catechin intake and lower visceral fat in adults over 50. Sencha after breakfast, sencha after lunch, matcha after supper, if it doesn't disturb your sleep. Same tea. Different hour. Entirely different result. After 50, your body doesn't stop working. It stops accepting the wrong instructions. Not the tea, the timing. Step 5. 1 fermented food. Every day. Have you ever wondered why a traditional Japanese meal almost always includes a small pot of something pickled, something aged, something fermented? Miso paste, natto, tsukemono, small quantities, every day. Most guides treat gut health as a passing wellness trend. This is the point where everything becomes clear. Your microbiome, the community of bacteria living in your gut, directly shapes how your body stores fat around your middle, and your microbiome has changed with the menopause. Diversity drops. The communities that once helped keep your waist trim quietly retreat. Research from King's College London, through the Twins UK cohort and the wider British gut work, has repeatedly linked gut microbiome diversity to lower abdominal fat in women over 50. You do not need supplements. You need 1 small fermented food every day. A spoonful of live sauerkraut with lunch. A teaspoon of miso stirred into warm water. A small pot of natural yogurt with breakfast. A little kimchi with your Tuesday supper. Kefir on a Sunday morning. Feed the small kingdom inside you. It will remember what to do. Step 6. Shokugo no sanpo. The 10-minute walk after your meal. Have you been told to walk more? 10,000 steps? A brisk hour before breakfast? And found 6 months later, the belly is still there? Most British guides treat walking as a fat-burning exercise. The point is calories out. The longer, the harder, the better. Here's what most women 50 plus never discover. The 10 minutes that matter most are the 10 minutes after you eat, not before. After. When you walk immediately after a meal, your leg muscles quietly pull sugar directly out of your bloodstream, without needing insulin to do it. The post-meal glucose spike that would normally become storage instead becomes energy. Studies in diabetes care and elsewhere have shown that even 10 minutes of gentle walking after a meal lowers the post-meal glucose curve significantly. And the effect is especially pronounced in women over 50. You don't need a workout. You need a gentle loop of the garden, a walk to the postbox and back, a stroll around the block after supper. Not a workout, a rhythm. Step 7, the evening bath. Warm, long. 40 minutes before you sleep. Have you noticed that a hot bath in the evening makes you sleep more deeply, even when nothing else changes? Most women 50 plus have been told to keep a cool bedroom for good sleep. And this is true, but it is only half the story. And here it gets really interesting. Your body falls into deep sleep when your core temperature drops. And the fastest way to make your core temperature drop is to raise it first, then let it fall. A warm bath, roughly 40 minutes before bed, warms your core, then leaves your body cooling gently into the deepest sleep of the night. Deep sleep is when your body burns visceral fat. Deep sleep is when cortisol resets for the next day. Deep sleep is where the whole game is won or lost after 50. A meta-analysis published in Sleep Medicine Reviews found that passive body heating 1 to 2 hours before bed measurably improved slow-wave sleep depth. The Japanese know this by ritual. You can know it by science. Warm the body, then sleep. Step 8. The natural early dinner, and the 12 gentle hours that follow. This is the one no British guide will tell you. Have you tried 16 to 8 fasting, skipping breakfast until midday, and found, weeks in, that you feel tired, tense, and the belly hasn't moved? The Western fasting protocols were designed on male metabolism. They ask a menopausal body, already high in cortisol, already struggling with insulin, to push 12, 14, 16 hours without food. The body reads this as stress. And stress means more cortisol, and more cortisol means more belly. And here begins what changes everything. Japanese women 50 plus do not fast. They finish supper by 7 in the evening. They wake gently around 7 the next morning. 12 quiet hours, not extreme, not stressful, not a nap. Just the rhythm the female body over 50 was built for. Dr. Louise Newson has been vocal for years about the risks of aggressive fasting for women in the menopause. 12 hours, soft, natural, overnight, is the sweet spot, not less. Gentler, not harder, wiser. A few small extras before we close. Add sesame seeds, a teaspoon on your porridge, a sprinkle on your soup. The sesame quietly supports how your liver clears. Used estrogen, one of the great forgotten mechanisms after 50. Choose miso paste over stock cubes. Same warmth. Utterly different biology. Keep one small ceramic bowl beside your kettle, a visual cue for Hara Hachi Bu at every meal. And take your tea after supper, not before. Sit down, sip slowly, let the day close. You haven't done anything wrong. You were simply given the wrong rhythm. 8 habits. Most take under 2 minutes. All of them laid across one day gently rewrite the hormonal instructions your body has been receiving for years. Miso first. Small ceramic bowls. Hara Hachi Bu at every meal. Green tea after food. 1 fermented spoonful a day. A quiet 10-minute walk after supper. A warm bath 40 minutes before bed. And a natural 12-hour window between supper and breakfast. Nothing extreme, nothing punishing, nothing your grandmother wouldn't recognize. And listen, if you know a friend who is still counting calories, still crashing herself on fasting apps, still fighting a belly that will not shift, send her this video. She needs it. It is the kindest thing you can do for her this month. In the next video, I'll show you the one British herb your grandmother would have known that resets cortisol overnight and helps women 55 plus sleep through until morning. You won't want to miss it. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't. Which of the 8 habits will you start tonight? Write the number in the comments. I read every single one. And if you're already doing one without realizing it was Japanese, tell me which. I love hearing that. Warm the belly. Don't fight it.